Yo, what's up guys? d-cellgaming here, back with some more Final Gear. And today we're going to be continuing the Spotlight series. And for those of you that don't know what the Spotlight series is, this is where I go through and talk about lesser known characters in the game that are actually really useful. Now, this series doesn't typically focus on like the OP or meta units. However, that doesn't mean they'll never find a way onto the Spotlight series. However, the general focus of this series is to talk about lesser known units that many people might not know are actually really good or have a viable use. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Snowy. So I was really torn on who I wanted to do next in the Spotlight series after doing Evelyn, and I finally decided on Snowy. Now the reason for this is a couple of reasons, but the main reason is even though I know she's a pretty popular character to recommend, I still find that a lot of new players don't quite understand what makes Snowy so good, and they pass up on the opportunity to get her and her custom mech, not knowing just how good Snowy can be. So in this video, I really want to shed a spotlight on her to show just how helpful she can be, not just as an early to mid-game damage dealer, but as an in-game support for your entire team. Also guys, while I'm here, let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about Snowy? And if there's any characters you would like to see mentioned in this series, let me know right there in the comments down below. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in game and take a look at Snowy and really go over what makes her so good. Now, of course, the first thing that I want to actually talk about is her availability right off the bat. So Snowy can actually be gotten from the newbie unlimited SSR summon. So you can get her right off the bat, and it's pretty much suggested that you go for her and not like Viorate or somebody else like that. Along with being able to get her right off the bat from the unlimited SSR summons, you can actually get her from Royal Invitations, and you can get 4 of those a month from just checking in every single day and playing the game. So this is a very easy way to get sustainable dupes for Snowy, and you can, what makes this really helpful is you can get these Royal Invitations, use them to get dupes for Snowy. That will unlock her talents, that will unlock her skills, and you won't have to waste sequence cores on Snowy. You can actually slowly build her up while you're still being able to focus on a main DPS to carry you through the game. This is one of the things that makes Snowy really, really good. Being able to focus on a damage dealer really helps you optimize and maximize your damage output, while at the same time you're slowly building Snowy alongside of them, making that main damage dealer even better, all while maximizing your resource usage to its most efficient way. So you're not having to like split sequence cores between your DPS and for your support unit. And also Snowy is available in the normal summon section, and you can kind of do like a little bit of a farm for her. The rate up isn't very high. In fact, I summon on Snowy literally every single time, and even though like the rate up for Snowy it's like 0.45 and the other ones are 0.41%, I've gotten Nova, Viorate, Dongo, Elizabeth, Murasaki. Yeah, I've gotten them all. And I've gotten probably more copies of Nova than I have Snowy doing this. But the thing is, the fact that you can get her from the normal summons means, again, you can slowly build up those dupe copies that you need while you're maintaining that DPS slot. So it's very important that you guys understand that wasting sequence cores on a support unit right off the bat will hamper your account once you start getting into the large scale requests. You really want to focus on a damage unit, and being able to level up a support unit alongside of a damage dealer will help you progress into the end game much faster. And being an SSR unit, it means when you get her to her fondness level all the way to 10, you get a free sequence core out of her, so you can use that sequence core to again buff up your damage dealer, or you could use it for Snowy herself. Her custom mech is actually very easily obtainable if you're farming some crystals from the beginning of the game. So this isn't a newbie guide, but it is very well known. As you start getting fondness levels up to level 5, you get 200 crystals. You're going to be getting free crystals every single day, and once you get up to 2,000 crystals, or it might be 2,500, I don't remember which, you can actually buy her custom mech with free crystals from the shop. So you go into the limited time pack and you're going to see a pack that looks like this right here. Pick 1 out of 6. So you're going to want to get the hamster ball looking thing, because that is Snowy's custom mech. So that is the battle sphere. But yeah, the very first option of this pack is actually with free crystals. After the free crystals, it does cost paid crystals. So if you're a free to play player, make sure that you get Snowy right off the bat and that you get her custom mech from the free shop item, or the free crystal shop item, because after that you're going to kind of be stuck, and then there was no real point in getting Snowy. Now, was there? Okay, so what makes this so good is that right off the bat you get an SSR pilot and you get a custom mech right off the bat for her. That means she's going to be pushing out crazy good damage for the early to mid game levels, even all the way up into the early in game. She is going to be putting out respectable DPS right off the bat, and once you level them up and brace them up, she's probably going to be your main source of damage for a while, because she's just that good until you start getting your damage dealers up to par and getting their custom mechs farmed and so on and so forth. So having Snowy decked out in her custom mech right off the bat, she is a demolisher, and she will demolish the early game, the early mid game, and the even early late game stuff. She will just be mowing things down for you, and she's gonna make your life so much easier in those moments. Now, another thing that I don't see mentioned a lot that really makes Snowy very good is that her attacks are actually homing, so you don't have to actually aim for those attacks to hit. Now, what makes this very good is the fact that you can manual her and not even be facing the enemy and be firing off missiles that home and hit those enemies. This is very good to cheese certain stages that you might be locked on, because you can just literally run around the stage dodging attacks and using her homing capabilities to clear the stage. This is especially useful for the large scale request 1v1s, and I actually used this to get past my very first 1v1. I got stuck. My Ren was not good enough, but I could just run around the map with my Snowy, not get hit, and use those homing missiles to cheese that stage. So yeah, when you're building up the early in game, she can still be useful to get past some of those harder stages. You can kind of just cheese your way through them with the homing tactic. So what makes her so good is her support. So even once her damage starts to fall off, her damage support for your main damage dealers is epic. Looking at her skills here, her high gear not only does damage to everything in the area, but every enemy that it hits, it causes them to take 5% extra damage to all of your teammates. So it makes them do more damage towards those enemies that it hits for 10 seconds. And it also boosts the crit chance of all of the allies by 5% for 10 seconds. And her second passive, every 15 seconds, everyone in the entire team is going to get a buff of 10 seconds. And that's either going to be damage, crit chance, evasion, accuracy, crit damage, or even a life draining attack. And the life draining attack can actually be very useful for the harder stages. So even if you fail a stage and you don't have enough survivability for it, you can replay it like 3 or 4 times until you get that life drain buff, and that will most likely be enough to push you through that stage. All of these buffs are very, very good, but especially the damage and the crit damage ones, those can mean massive numbers for your entire team. And the last thing on the list that makes her really good as far as her skills go is Little Angel. Little Angel passive makes the enemy, or I'm sorry, it makes the teammate with the highest attack ignore enemy defense. So they literally just bypass any defense that the enemies have. Doesn't matter if they're a boss or whatever. So this supplements your, like, the unit that you're already investing the most in anyway, deal even more damage. So even when Snowy herself isn't contributing very much damage to the team, she is still making your team overall deal way more damage. But there's more to this, because Snowy is actually going to be receiving a UR upgrade in the future, so this makes Snowy future proof. So if you're building her now, she will still be available and around and useful far into the future, and we're going to go over what her UR upgrade looks like. So when she gets her UR upgrade, the talent passive that she has now, which is the generic fanaticism, will be turned into a different, more specific passive, which will increase her evasion, will help her survivability go up, and it will cause her normal attacks to have a chance to deal additional damage upon hit. But there's more to it than that. Her talent directly feeds into her UR skill, which will give her normal attacks a 75% chance to increase everyone on the team's damage by 30%, their crit chance by 20%, and their crit damage by 50% for 8 seconds. Now this can't stack, but it will be refreshed. And at 75% chance, that is pretty much a 100% uptime. You will always have 30% extra damage, 50% extra crit damage, and 20% extra crit chance, like across the board when her UR comes out. So investing in her now is not a waste. That's what I'm trying to get across. So even if you're building her from day one, she will still have a future a year from now. That's gonna wrap up today's Spotlight series. Snowy is an amazing support and early to mid game damage dealer. She is really good when you have her custom mech, but the main draw of Snowy is her insane amount of support that she's going to receive. Especially when she gets her UR, she's going to be really excellent. If you've made it this far in the video, consider liking and subscribing and leaving a comment, even if you just want to say hi. Tell me how you're doing. That all helps out with the YouTube algorithm and helps the growth of the channel, which I greatly appreciate. Have a great day, guys, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.